Alright, so this is going to be part 2 of the Briggs & Stratton opposed twin rebuild. I'm going to start out, we're going to hone the cylinder here. This is my honing the cylinder setup. This is a really big drill press. Set to 150 RPM with cylinder hone. That way I can just go up and down with the handle. So, I'll get the camera set up here and we'll get to honing it. I'll go ahead and show you what all else I've got done. Got the oil pan cleaned up. That was full of sludge. Real good and clean now. Got the front cover cleaned. Oil baffle cleaned. Still got to clean the crankshaft, new crankshaft, and all the parts in these bins. So in this video, I'm gonna hone the cylinders, and we're gonna touch up the valve seats, and hopefully start reassembling by the end of the video. I'd like to get the rotating assembly put together by the end of the video. So I get the camera set up and we're gonna hone the cylinders. Alright, let's get these cylinders honed. This drill press is set to 150 RPM. I'm going to use a little bit of PB Blaster for lube. And I'll spray some on there while it's running. That's about all it needs. Really, let me get a flashlight and look in them cylinders. Just gonna do a touch more. Alright. That's perfect right there. So now I gotta flip it around so we can do the other side. On the next cylinder, that's good right there. Really good cross hatch right there. So let's get it out of here and I guess take it over to the workbench so we can do the valve seats. Okay, so pretty decent cross hatch in there. It's not perfect, but took some of the ring ridge out too. So now I'm gonna cut the valve seats. I'm not really gonna cut them, just gonna touch them up, make sure they're still sitting at a 45-degree angle. The opposed twins do have hardened valve seats in them. So I'll show you the valve seat cutter I'm gonna use, and you don't see too many of these anymore. This is actually a GM tool for cutting valve seats. I think this was the 1914 to 1932 valve seat cutter, and you can still find some of these on eBay where I got this one. So let's get set up and cut the valve seats. All right, so got the right pilot set up. It's 5/16. Yeah. It's backwards. Alright, so that's good right there. So, do the exhaust. The exhaust is harder than the intake. But it still cleaned it up and deglazed it, so I'm gonna do the other two off camera, and I can get this block in the parts washer and get it final cleaned. All right, so I thought I'd show this. This is I just got done lapping the exhaust valve. It lapped in really good. I wish this camera would focus. I don't think it's gonna, but got a good seal on there all the way around. So that's the exhaust on cylinder 1. Now I got to do the intake. I actually don't have one of those suction cup things, so I'm just doing it like that. So I get this one done. The intake lapped in real good. You'd see all the way around right there. There's a little bit there. It's not lapped at the bottom and a little bit at the top. Right there in the middle where you want it. Same way with the exhaust. So now I still got to clean up the valves for cylinder 2, but still got a lot of parts I got to clean up, but these two are done. I'm fixing to start putting piston rod assemblies together. Alright, so I'm going to start installing the rings here in a minute after I check the gaps, but I figured I'd show the new rings I got. This is them. 2 compression, 1 oil ring. So I'm going to check the gaps off camera, and I'll get back with you. Alright, so here's my pistons and rings, brand new rings. I'm going to move the camera over here where I have the rod. Adjust it. My engine assembly lube out. That vise isn't tight, so it's not hurting anything. Going to coat the inside of this hole with engine assembly lube. And the ones on the inside of the piston. And the piston pin will be coated by the time it gets in there. Now, to talk about something, this notch right here is going to face the flywheel. So, on this rod, it's going to go like that. There we go. Wipe off the extra assembly lube. And there's pretty much an assembled piston and rod. I still got to put the clips in. I'm going to do that off camera. There we go. I got the clips in. all finished up and ready to go. So I'm gonna do the other piston off camera, and I know I'm not showing as much of this as I should be, but I'm trying to shorten the videos up a little bit. They're getting mighty long, so my apologies for that. All right, so now I'm gonna install a crankshaft. A little bit of a side note here. I don't have the rear main seal in it right now because they sent me the wrong one. So I had to order that. But you can go ahead and install a crank if you want to. It's fine. Just install that later. And now I can start putting pistons in. I'm going to start out with cylinder 1, which is the first one I took out. Got to unscrew this rod cap. And there's a thing right here, those two bosses right there. They're not on the other side. Go on the same side. I gotta get some oil in an oil can to put on them rings. So get plenty of oil in the cylinder. Some people put engine assembly lube in the cylinder, but oil just seems better. This is the same weight of oil that I'm going to run in this. Oil up the rings real good. Piston real good. So now I got to get my ring compressor out. Alright, so make sure the oil hole on the rod is facing up. I'm going to get some assembly lube on this rod. Like that. And like that. Go ahead and line that up best I can. And see if I can get this started on there. Turn it this way. I ain't gonna be able to. I did not forget the oil dipper. Briggs and Stratton really made these things easy to access here. Especially when they're stiff and you can't turn them over very easily. You get them in just the right spot to torque these rods. Sorry if my head got in the way. There's one. Alright. Alright, so there's one rod. Now I gotta turn it to where I can get to this other one. on. There we go. That's both of them. I torqued those to 170. Thing turns over good, but it's got that stiff drag to it. All right, so now I guess we can actually put the oil pan on. I'm gonna keep this torque wrench out because I'm gonna probably use that to put this oil pan on. So here's a shiny new, or shiny clean oil pan, not new. The oil baffle. Just test fitting here. There we go. Making sure nothing's hitting. Let me get all this. All right, so gasket is getting liberal coating of Permatex gasket shellac because I don't want the oil pan leaking. Apparently this one was actually leaking before, which I knew that when I pulled the motor. It was just a light seep, but it was still leaking. Most of the gaskets in this motor will be getting some of this. They're not MP15, so all right, here we go. Oil pan's going on. Gasket with Permatex Indian head on it. Just checking to be sure that oil baffle is where it needs to be. Alright, so I'm gonna run these bolts down. Alright, oil pan's all tightened down. Back on there. There we go. So there we go. Those pistons are good. Everything here is good as far as I can tell. Won't have to worry about the gasket leaking. Probably ought to go ahead and install the tappets and camshaft, but I'm going to take a break for a while. And we'll see y'all here in a while. Alright, so we're out here working on the Pose Twin again tonight. Tonight's goal is to get the timing terrain and the camshaft in there, and hopefully the valves, and get the front cover on, front main bearing, get the crank in play done. It should be good. I'm going to start by sliding on this gear right here. And this gear has a bevel cut in it right here. That goes in, and there's a key, and this key will fall out. It's loose in there. So when you're taking it apart, be aware of that. It just slides on like that. So I'm going to start out with cylinder 2, which is the back cylinder. We've got to get the tappets in now. So get some engine assembly lube on them. Alright, so intake goes in first. And this can be tricky. My apologies if my head's getting in the way. There it is. And off. Well, this one here is just going to fight me every step of the way, apparently. There. Alright, it's in there. Slide it all the way up. The exhaust. The exhaust ought to be easier, I hope. There we go. Slide that one all the way up. So that's cylinder 2. Cylinder number 1. Start out with the intake. There's that one. Exhaust. Get again, generous amount of this stuff. This video here is going to be a long one, I can tell. Slide it in. There we go. So now I'm going to get some lube on the cam. Get it set in there and the timer set. Alright, so there's a dot here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's one on that tooth right there. Line them up. Tooth off. There we go. And now right there. There we go. There we go. Alright, so it's on there. So, there's the timing set and everything. Get some assembly lube on this piece right here. Some on the gears. Now roll it around. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I got the front main bearing on. I didn't show any of that because it was kind of, had to do it real fast and there wouldn't have been a good shot of it. But basically what you have to do to get the front main bearing on is to, the best way to do it is to boil it in oil. Get it heated up all the way, the whole bearing heated up. Don't try to take a torch to it or nothing, just boil it in some oil and it slid right on there. So, and then just let it cool off. So now I'm going to start doing the crank in play. I'm going to start out with my thickest gasket and work my way down to the thinnest. So I'm not going to show all of that. I'll just show you the final results once I get done. So I'm going to start doing that. Alright, so got the crank in place set. Wind up going with the thinner shim. We got about 2/1000 crank in play. I put the big face indicator on here so you can see. We got about 2/1000 on there. So I'm gonna pull this back off, get some Permatex Indian head gasket shellac on that gasket there, and should be ready to install this front cover. Got to get the governor on there. So let's get that done. Alright, so I'm going to show how to install a governor. Open this up. So here's our governor. There is a flat disc here. It's going to go on first. Get some assembly lube on all of this. Smear some around on that there washer on this shaft. Now, this governor, this piece right here, is going to sit in here like this, like that. You want it to where when you open them up, it'll open up with them. Might have to go. Be better when I get it on here. So sit it on there. There's a little wire ring there too that has to go on here. That's kind of a retainer. And you gotta get all this stuff lined up like so. Opens up like so, like just like it's supposed to. Alright, so that's basically how you install a governor on one. I have wiped these gasket surfaces down. Let me get some Permatex on this gasket. Alright, so here's our gasket. As you can see, very light coat of Permatex Indian head. This gasket goes on here the other way. Do not ever use silicone on the front cover gasket. You will wind up with a blown up motor if you do. That can cause way more issues than it will ever solve. Here all my holes are lined up. Just ready to drop this front cover on. Be sure that the teeth align on your governor. There we go. And so the best way I've found to put one of these covers on is just to set the bolts in it, 2 bolts. And just evenly run them down like this. Like I said earlier, I think most of the gaskets on this engine will be getting, except for the head gaskets, will be getting the Permatex gasket shellac. Alright, so there's those 2. Go ahead and get the rest of them started. This one goes at the bottom, it's a little longer. Snug these up. And I am going to torque these. I know it's unnecessary, just make sure you get them all even, but I just want to be sure I get them all even. £50-inch sounds alright. I need a different socket. That one's good. I have to have an extension for that one. I'll find an extension here in a minute. Y'all get the idea. Alright, so now I'm going to start installing the valves. So first we got this intake valve on cylinder number 2. Trying to get you a good shot here. So, very important thing on these opposed twins is valve seals. This is a new style valve seal. The old style looked like this, and it's just an O-ring in there. Big difference in valve seals. So this is a new style. Part number is right there, 692324. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to put a little lube on it. And get it in there on the valve stem. Oh yeah, now that's a tight fit right there, which is a good thing, very good thing. So now it's time for the spring. Alright, so I got the entire valve assembly put in, both cylinders. The exhaust valves fought me, so that was a pain in the rear end. Well, I didn't show it. So now I'm going to put the valve covers on. Alright, here's the gasket. Covered up in gasket shellac. Going on. And here is the valve cover. That's not how it goes. Okay, this one, yeah, it's the one for the other side. I need to be doing this side. Trying to figure out how to get this gasket on here right. Seems like it goes like that. Yep, there we go. Couple of bolts. Those started. There's one. Not going to be able to use a ratchet on this one, I don't think. Well, maybe I can. These were literally loose when I took this motor apart. I have no idea why they were loose, but they pretty much wore around and screwed them with my fingers. Be careful not to strip your threads, tighten them evenly. There we go. Alright, so this next one's kind of tricky because it's 3 pieces. Or actually, not 3-piece, but a 2-piece valve cover. You got this piece right here. And you got gasket, another gasket, and then your actual valve cover, which goes this way. I think, no, don't go that way, it goes this way. Like that. And the 2 bolts. Actually, this one had longer bolts. That's right. Find them. This video is going to be a long video. Bad. Yep, just remembered one valve cover had longer bolts. Just snug them down evenly. Like that. Alright, so that's about it for tonight. I'm getting pretty tired. Alright, so I guess that's going to be it for part 2 of the Pose Twin. We got the valve covers on, everything done. Got the front cover on. Pretty much all assembled there. So, our next project's going to be this, so you can stay tuned for that. This, everybody that watched today's Gone By video knows where this came from. And, this is going to be the next thing that I go to working on as soon as I get done with this. So, that's going to be it for this one, and thanks for watching.